Hello and welcome to Childminding and Beyond with me, Beth.
Me, Sam.
And me, Sarah.
Tonight we are talking about our favourite outdoor activities, what we've got in our continuous provision, and what are our go-to activities with our little people. Sam, should we go to you first with what you've got? I know you've got a massive garden, so I'm sure.
Well, we live on a corner plot, so we have got quite a big garden at the back where they've got grass area which has got swings on, and ladders, and we've got a couple of tough trays. We don't use that all year round because obviously the grass gets really boggy. We don't have astroturf or anything, it's just normal grass, so yeah, it does get quite boggy. And then we've got a patio area down the bottom which has got our sand pit. It's got some wooden planks, some mini tyres, and some milk crates. And then my garden's really strange. A strange kind of layout. I'll have to do like an Instagram live. And then we've got a pond, guinea pigs, and then it goes up and we've got like a secret path between the outer wall and the bushes. So they get to play down there and they feel like they're hidden away. So you get a lot more language from them if you're stood by the side listening, because they feel that it's just they're not being watched. So we've got mud kitchen, we've got like a fairy den, we've got scales. It's not fancy, it's just things that Ryan's put together. Our mud kitchen is literally a piece of MDF ply fixed in like the fir trees. We've got playhouse, we've got a little troll bridge, a little message centre, a little digger pit, a little forest school area and a wigwam and like a building area. And then the bottom of the garden is our greenhouse. We've got a fire pit and all our veg beds and our chickens, but they don't go down that without an adult. That's like gated off, so they can go around the rest of the garden like free flow, but down there, like with the greenhouse and that, they'll only come down with an adult because there's water butts and things like that down there. So yeah, ours is quite spread out and little bits in little nooks and crannies, really.
Nice.
Wow.
I love, obviously I've never been to your house, so I haven't seen it in person, but the pictures and the videos that you have put up of your little nook between, did you say the bushes and the
Oh
fence?
yeah,
Lovely.
secret path.
It looks
It's like
so
it's between a
cute.
wall and a wall and then bushes. We've got like a little strip down there, and they've got all their little bits down there, like the mud kitchen and like the digger pit and things like that. So they're a little bit tucked away, and they just I think they like that, and especially with like the reluctant speakers, I find that they do a lot more talking when they feel like an adult isn't there watching and they're just there with their peers. So
Yeah,
yeah, it works quite well.
nice, nice. So
That
that's
sounds
your continuous
amazing.
provision.
Say that again.
That's your continuous provision, and that's out all the time.
That's out all the time. Yeah, we've got a few tough trays dotted around, but they're empty. So we'll pop stuff on, as we go out. But I'll come to my go to resources a little bit later on.
Cool, thank you, Sam. Sarah, what about your continuous provision?
So mine is a lot smaller. I haven't got a huge garden at all. We do have AstroTurf down simply because we live in a clay area. So in the winter it is literally like sludge, and then in the summer it is rock hard. So it's just not safe. So we have got AstroTurf down. But we have out a mud kitchen, there's a sand tray, there's water play out and available all the time. We've got a mirror that they can paint on, an outside chalkboard, a perspex board for painting on as well. There's guttering and tyres and all sorts of other little things that they can use, and lots of natural resources, pine cones and conkers and sticks and stones and shells and all sorts of things like that, and they're all free access. I've got some apple crates set up next to the mud kitchen, and they can just free access everything that they want off of there. Our decking is at the bottom of the garden, and it's kind of on a two-step. And even that is just brilliant because they love just jumping up and down. So they'll go up the steps and then jump off of the decking. And that just creates lovely play as well. But yeah, ours isn't a huge garden, but it works well for our children that we have in setting, and they love it. So
We've
Nice.
got little steps in ours. Sorry, Beth. And once they've started toddling and walking, all they'll do is walk up the steps, go around, go back down, walk up the steps. It's like they practice, and they basically just walk laps.
yeah,
Oh, bless.
they do that with the decking. They go up the small step and then they go up to the next bit, and then they'll jump off when they get a bit more confident, and it's lovely.
Yeah.
We've got steps in our garden, and we because we've got kind of quite a younger cohort, going up and down is just a massive like safety hazard for us. So we're either up on the grass or down on the concrete. Um, we'll occasionally have it open, but we'll always make sure that there's a member of staff sitting or like helping the babies up and down the steps to try and promote independence, going up and down. But it's quite hard with our younger ones with trying to man that all the time. So quite
Yeah,
often we
but
end up down on the patio or up on the grass. But like you said, Sarah, with your garden, Simon's a bit. If it's raining, we can't go on the grass. It gets too muddy. He likes his grass. He
Ryan's
told
Ryan's exactly the same. It's men and their grass.
I know. But then I say, "Oh, can you mow the grass?" And he's like, "Oh no, it doesn't need mowing." Yes, it does. It needs mowing. Can you mow the grass? Or I put a bag of soil on it a couple of days ago, and obviously with the hot weather, it's like burnt a hole in the grass. Oh, that was it. That was the end of the world. I was like, it will grow. It will grow. Um, but in terms of our continuous provision here, as I said, we've got a patio area and then two steps up to um, grass. Um, and then what have we got out? We've got a quite a big mud kitchen, and then a smaller mud kitchen. The smaller mud kitchen my dad made me when I first started childminding. It was only a really small one. It's made out of like old pallets and random bits of wood he could find. Um, but I'm really reluctant. Like we've got a new one, and it's really it's a lot nicer. Sorry, Dad. But I'm a bit reluctant to get rid of my little original mud kitchen because I don't know, my dad made it for us. So
Mm.
yeah, so now we've got two mud kitchens. What else have we got? We've got some guttering as well. A sand pit. It's like a double layer sand pit, and I really, really rate it. It's meant to be a sand and water tray. I just put two lots of sand because my lot love just transporting sand, and I my bugbear is when they mix the sand in with the mud kitchen stuff. I know you gotta let it let it go, and but I can't. So instead, they can transport from the two different levels, like into buckets and stuff. But I just can't deal with it when there's sand in the mud kitchen. It makes
Is that have you got the plum
Yes,
yes. See, I've got that, and I've got the water underneath, and that's a really good idea actually. I don't even know why I didn't think about just having two, because every time I put the water in the lower one, they just
they
pour
just
sand in
mix
it
it.
anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got the
So
same, and mine is set out the same, sand in both.
yeah.
I'm
Um.
doing that. I'm definitely doing that because it's just full
Yeah.
of like water at the minute and it needs emptying out. But yeah, they just pour the sand from that to that. That's a really good idea. I
Yeah.
like that. Thanks, ladies.
Yeah. That's your job for tomorrow.
Yeah,
Um.
do it in your spare time.
Whenever that is. Yeah, so we've got that sand tray out. We've got like a little Wendy house, like type thing. Um, we've got diggers and cars, and then we've got like planks of decking, which I've painted black, and then just put white lines down the middle so they can use those as roads um,
Nice.
for the big cars that we've got in the garden. Or I can put like the go-kart tires out, and then we can make a bit like an assault course. So obviously loose parts in the garden opportunities are wild with those. I think that's all we've got.
We've got
I
trikes. I forgot about that. We have got the like the Winther red and black trikes. So we've got one really small, just push along one. We've got a couple of the pedal trikes, and then we've got one where one can stand on the back, and they absolutely love that. And then
Oh, amazing.
we've got an outside. It was really sad actually. So this one little girl would stand on the back, and wait for her 4-year-old friend that would like pedal her around. Then when she went to school in September, this little girl would go out in the garden, just stand on the back of the bike, but obviously her friend had gone to school. It was really, it was really, really sad.
Oh,
But yeah, and we've also got a couple of outdoor dollies that stay outside, like the hard-bodied ones. And we've got a pushchair as well, which I forgot about.
so I have the little go-kart tires, and I've been humming and hawing about what I can do with them, but I think I'm going to get some decking, like what Beth said, to then make little assault courses with. I think that would be really good.
We've got little tires at the moment, and they absolutely love them. We just got them from Cozy, so we've
Yeah.
got a like the road planks as well, which will either use for cars, or at the minute they'll make ramps with like milk crates. I chatted up my not chatted up, but I chatted to um the milkman years and years ago, and I was like, can I have some crates? He was like, yeah, definitely. I was like, I'll bake you a cake, and he was like, winner. So I had like 10 milk crates.
Wow.
So they'll stack them, and then they'll put like the rig road planks down, and then whiz the tires down, and they absolutely love doing that at the minute.
Yeah, ours do that with the oh gosh, we've got like raised flower beds on the patio. It's like three railway sleepers or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, high, so they can get a good speed with the cars, and they love it.
Yeah, they do. And then it's all that critical thinking and problem solving as well, isn't it? That they're, when the car doesn't go down, that, it goes too fast, too slow, then they're working together to, rebuild their things. So yeah, loose parts. You guys were saying about loose parts, and that's just, that's just amazing in the garden. It's just sparks so much, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We've got a big wooden cupboard, which it's got lots of other stuff in, and we will then bring out little bits and pieces. We don't have it all out, because if I had the cupboard open, the whole lot will just be out. But we'll take out like little bits. There'll be like den building kits in there, and bubbles and things like that.
Nice.
Lovely.
What are your
Just
go-to activities then, Sarah?
so for me, I think the mud kitchen is always set up, or what is the garden kitchen for me. Obviously, I've got no mud in the garden unless I offer it up, so I need to actually have a tub of mud. But sometimes it is just used as a water tray, and they'll use water with it. And we've got the like the coffee syrup bottles with the pumps on, and they love using those, and they'll play at the mud kitchen, and they'll make coffees and teas, and the language that sparks from that is lovely. So mud kitchen for me is a big one that's always set up, and
How,
it's always
how much are your coffees? Because mine are really expensive.
mine are really expensive. I think the other day mine was about £47 because they'd sprinkled something on top, and that was what made it expensive. So it was really funny. But just the way their brain works, and it's lovely. So the mud kitchen is always set up. And like I said before, we've got the mirror. I've got a mirror outside, and they use it for painting on. Or I'll put foam out, and they can paint with the foam. But that's a really good one because they're just free to paint whatever they want and make meaning to their marks, which is really lovely. Nice process art.
Which
Yeah,
leads on to
nice.
another episode at some point.
Yes, we're gonna do an episode on process art, hopefully next week,
Yeah.
or the week after. But yes, in terms of my go-to activities, we normally have a tough tray set up with like what we call a focus activity, whether it be a sensory base or we normally try and do most of our messy stuff in the garden because I just find it a lot easier to clean. So whether it's like paint, like you said, Sarah, you've got a big mirror. We've recently got is it the big silver tray from Cozy? Is it?
Yep.
We've recently got one of those, so I haven't yet let them paint on it yet, but that I'm looking forward to trying that. But what else?
That's
I
a
love,
that's a really good one. We've got that, the reflective mirror tray, and it
yeah,
works really well with a lot of things. Chalks, paint, and it just washes off really, really easy. But you've got
yeah,
that different, because you've got the mirror perspective as well. It's quite good as well. Painting what you can see. If you've got it underneath the tree, you can see like the
yeah,
shadows in that in there.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
saw
It's a really good
someone.
one. I love that one.
I think it might have even been Florence's old childminder. She did it when underneath a blossom tree,
Hmm.
and that looked really good, really, really effective. So yeah, I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to trying that. But I like setting up, especially when we can get onto the grass, like little assault courses for them. We've got like the wooden pickler, and the arch thing, and I enjoy setting those up, and doing a bit of an assault course. I haven't done that in a while actually, just because we can't really get onto the grass. Maybe I could bring it inside though.
Ours is inside.
Yeah, I might bring that inside tomorrow actually.
There you
But
go.
anyway, but yeah, I like doing that in the garden. Or the stepping stones. A lot of our children have got their next steps is balance. So we've had the stepping stones out quite a bit. Um, so yeah, I like a lot more physical activity outside rather than like set activities. Obviously, they have free flow, but there's a lot more physical activities outside than there is inside for us.
Mm.
More opportunity for it when you're outside, isn't there? That
Yeah, definitely.
bigger space, and a lot of the time when they want to run indoors, they're always told no, especially at home as well. No, we don't run indoors. And even I say it here because of the little ones. So,
Yeah, we
if
do.
we're going to run, we go outside.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely. And I think they're more focused outside. So, I find like when mine are in the playroom, they'll flit from here to there. They might sit down and find an activity and spend a while doing it. But generally, they're a bit of a flit. They probably flit a lot. Whereas when we're outside, they'll find something, even though there's still loads of more resources. Maybe it's spread out, maybe it's because it's outside, but they then will find something and then play with that for a long period of time.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I think their behaviour's better outside as well. Um,
Definitely. Well,
they
you're
they
removing the
just
walls, aren't you?
Yeah.
The boundaries almost have gone. In respect, they
Mm.
feel free. We're calmer. They're calmer. It's better for everybody's
Yeah.
mental health. So
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely. I think when you went back to just going back to what you said before about your little like nook area that you've got and you hear a lot of different language, I find in general their language, the creativity in their language increases when they're outside. I hear a lot more language from outside than I do inside. And I find that really interesting.
yeah, definitely, 100%. I find there's a lot more observations to gain outside as well, and you can focus in their interests and you know going to my go-to outside is definitely nature play. If I set up something like a muddy coffee station, muddy burgers, leaf ice creams, anything like that, I could say 9 out of 10 of my children, 90% of my children will be there at that station at some point during the morning. They will be there. If I set up something inside, there'll probably be about half that would probably might come in and explore. But if I do anything nature, then they're there. So my go-tos is definitely anything to do with nature. So afternoon tea station, water and teapots and cups, definitely a winner. If I set up, I've got like a little teapot station. If I put that on that cozy mirror tray with some water, they're there for ages. They'll be bringing me cups of tea, which is lovely, even if it's really expensive. So afternoon, like water cups, it doesn't have to be expensive, just like the teapots and the cups and that you can find in the charity shops, just with some water is a definite go-to, and that's a really good one for mine. anything to do with nature, so anything in the mud kitchen, old spoons, again, charity shop, like big spoons, old saucepans, shells from the beach, pine cones, going back to the loose parts, anything like that is definitely a hit for mine.
Yeah.
Chalks is a really good one. Sometimes I'll just put chalks on the tough tray. Doesn't look pretty, isn't an Instagrammable photo, but they've got like a nice big black tray, to do some big motor movements, some big marks, give meaning to marks. So all my age children will go to that. So chalks is another one. When it's sunny, paintbrushes and water. Mine will go around the garden for absolutely ages. Just painting the fence, painting the floor, just painting the playhouse. They'll stand for hours painting the playhouse. So they'll chalk the playhouse and then they'll have rollers and paintbrushes and they'll just wipe it all off. Water squirters is always a really good one as well. It's when the little ones are like trying to do it and they end up squirting themselves in the face.
Always.
But yeah, water squirters is always a really good one as well. Great for those motor movements. But yeah, lots of that one. I think that's probably about it. Bubbles is always a good one outside though, isn't it?
Bubbles, yes.
Bubbles is always a good one. I'm thinking what I've got in my outdoor resource cupboard. But I think nature play, sand, water, afternoon tea sets, I think is probably the favourite here. I could get that out every day of the week and they would still be engaged and you'd get different conversations every day of the week.
Yeah, and keeping it simple as well, because mine like a simple setup, like just the painting on the mirror, and playing in the water tray or playing in the sand. It's keeping it really simple. It doesn't have to be complicated.
No, it doesn't. Exactly that. And it doesn't have to be expensive either, does it? Because like I say, water, sand, mud, nature, pine cones, think shells from the beach if you can get to the beach, things like that. They just, they'll use in their play. Ours are forever playing ice creams as well. Do you want to come to my shop for an ice cream? What would you like? I think somebody actually, one little 4-year-old boy, ordered from the shop the other day a decaf latte.
Wow.
I was like, very posh. I'll just have a hot chocolate, thanks, which cost me, £20. But yeah,
Well, that's
just keeping
cheaper
it
than mine.
keeping it simple. How much was yours?
47.
Wow. We're in the wrong job, girls.
Yes, we are. Also, we are outside all year round. So no
We
matter
are
what
as
the weather,
well.
I know you're the same, Sam, but we are outside no matter what the weather, we will go outside.
Yeah, we try to go out as much as we can with our babies when it's raining or if it's really cold. They don't like being outside for too long. We just do more short snippets to try and build up their resilience with.
Yeah, we're like that. So at the minute, like we'll go out in the garden or go out to forest school, and we'll leave here about 9:30. We'll probably come back about 1:30. But when it's when it's been like really cold and that, we might leave here at 9:30. Get there at have some snack. Get there at 10. We might be turning around back in the car at 10:45. But that's okay. It's just maybe in the winter we'll do a podcast about being outside in the cold weather. But it's still all that learning of getting themselves dressed, getting them in their waterproofs, getting them out the water, getting themselves out of their waterproofs. That's just a massive activity in itself and learning, learning opportunity.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just building up. We're not out as much in the winter.
No, ours are shorter sessions definitely in the winter. But I was about to say the time spent is still the same because of the whole right, let's get your wetsuits on, and they'll put them on and we'll try and do them independently and try and do the little clips up themselves, and everything takes time. And even when you do go out and it might only be sort of for half an hour, 40 minutes, and you think, blimey, that was quick and over and done with quickly, but they've still had that experience and they've still had that time outside and they need that.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
100% they do.
even
So
if it's 20 minutes for fresh air, blow away the cobwebs, and then if it's all too much, just coming back in. But
it just resets them, doesn't it? Being outside, playing outside, it comes in and they're reset. We're reset. We've probably got more patience. We're all calm. They're calmer. So yeah. So there's our outdoor activities and what we've got in our provision and our go-tos. Have you ladies got anything else to add?
I don't think so. I think we've
No,
covered.
I will share, we'll put some photos together and we can share that on Childminder's Voice of our outside provision, of our continuous provision in our outside areas.
Yeah, I'll ping you over a little video or something and
Yeah.
we can put
Yeah.
together. But let us know your go-tos. Pop in the comments on the podcast. Give one of us a message or message on the Childminder Voice, and let us know what your go-to activities are, because you know, it's all about inspiring others and sharing. I'm definitely going to be changing my sandpit and water tray into a double sandpit from this podcast. So yeah, let us know your takeaways and let us know your your go-to activities as well.
Thank you so much for listening, guys, and we will catch you next time when we're talking all about process art.
See you later.
Bye.
See
Bye.
ya!